The Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. Is it just a slight bump up from last year's S8, and is it worth your time and money? Are questions that we'll be answering here in just a second. This is Bad Tech and Gaming's first ever hands-on with the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. With those questions in mind, and since a hands-on is just a few minutes spent with the device, we only have two categories, good and bad. So let's start with the good. The fingerprint scanner is now in a much better place. Thank you, Samsung, for listening. Although it is still hard to tell the difference when you're not looking at it between the camera and the fingerprint scanner, it should make it a little bit easier to realize where your finger's at. The camera and the camera software, while seeing as only some of these things actually apply to the S9 Plus, I'll get to that in a second, of course. The software here is vast. You have slow motion up to 900 frames a second, and all the Snapchat-like filters that you could allow you to put makeup on your face and see which exactly kind of thing you want or like, what you don't like, without actually having to, well, put it on your face and spend money on it, which is kind of cool. Not for me, but some people may find that useful. And one of the differences, the Plus this year comes with a secondary camera. Now, this is a wide-angle lens. Now, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I think that is an amazing thing that they added in. I just wish it also went to the S9, because some people don't want that big of a phone. I'll get to that in a minute as well. The aperture here is also amazing on this phone. It has low light and regular light. It adapts to it. A very, very, very good camera. And of course, I won't get to actually review the camera until I actually get one of my own to review. But from what I've seen on other people's reviews and hands-on, it is absolutely amazing, and it should be the low light king, but until we actually get to do some side-by-sides, we won't know for sure. More goods is that the phone is actually slightly smaller, so it sits better in your hands. However, it is a tad bit heavier and a little bit thicker, which I actually don't mind. I've been saying it for a while. I don't mind a little bit of a thick phone. It doesn't have to be super, super thin, and I don't mind a little weight to it so long as it works right and has a good battery life. It's kind of like the difference between the iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone 10, if that helps kind of justify it. Now, the specs on this are also very nice. Starting out, it comes with Android 8.0 out of the box. It's actually gonna weigh 6.67 ounces, which is pretty nice. It is IP68 water resistant, comes in a few different colors, black, gray, purple, and blue. The physical size, 6.2 inches. The resolution, 1440 by 2960 pixels with a PPI of 531. Super AMOLED screen. Now, one cool thing here is the screen to body ratio is actually 83.68%, which is absolutely amazing. The camera is rear camera is a 12 megapixel camera with a aperture size of 1.5 to 2.4. It actually adjusts, which I didn't get a photo of that, but it's very cool. And it does have 2x optical zoom. Now, of course, the Galaxy S9 is only going to have one of those, but still very nice nonetheless. Moving on, it's got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 octa-core processor with an Adreno 630 for graphics, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes built-in storage, and up to 400 gigabytes of SD card storage. Cap that with a 3,500 milliamp hour battery on the Plus and a 30,000 milliamp hour battery on the 9, the regular one. You were looking at something pretty awesome, and it also retains things like pretty much everything the last year's one had as well, like wireless charging and all that good stuff on top of that. Now on to the bads. Of course, I was only able to notice very minimal things, just with a couple minutes hands-on. Design-wise, it's a little bit different. But other than the real colors, it's not really a refresh. So, that's kind of a bad thing. The camera on the S9 is just a single lens. So, if you want the dual lens but a smaller phone, you're kind of out of luck. So that might only reach out to a very small percentage of people, but those percentage of people will probably be a little bit unhappy. In conclusion, don't worry, we are wrapping up with this. So if you're tired of hearing my voice, you only have a few seconds longer. If you have a Galaxy S8 or a Note 8, this should make you feel good, unless if you are having issues, you probably will just hold off until the next Galaxy X that's rumored, of course. You don't really need to jump off of the Galaxy S8 for the 9, but for all others who are looking at this phone, it is a little bit expensive, but it is also a great phone. With the standard 6 gigabytes of RAM, the processing power to compete with anybody, I will probably end up buying this phone eventually, so that way I can review it for everybody as well. But yes, I would recommend this phone, but not if you have an S8. Unless if you really just like the latest and greatest. So keep that in mind. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you found this useful. We truly have a passion for technology here at Bad Tech and Gaming, so subscribe to get updates on future reviews and join our small community as it is growing rapidly. Thank you again. It is time to end.